Patricia Gallagher left her job to become a stay-at-home mom for 4 children, but her decision put a big dent in the family budget, so she figured out a way to save money and put her tips in this book, Raising Kids on a Reasonable Budget, and we took our cameras to her home to see those tips in action. Here it is.
John and I have been married 17 years, and I guess it's a little unusual. We have 4 children. One thing that's worked out well for us is we don't just give the kids money when they want money. They have to earn it. And we have a family chore chart where I list everything on the refrigerator, the jobs that have to be done, and then there's an amount of money assigned to each job. And each job's worth 60 to 25 cents to $1. And I think it's a good idea to ask kids to save money. For example, I said, how do you think we can save money? And they said, Mom, we just spend so much on pizza. Why don't we just make our own pizza? And I thought, that's a good idea. I've gotten a lot of nice things. Actually, I outfitted my whole family for 20. I think if you give kids things, everything they ask for, they have no hope, they have no anticipation, and they really get kind of spoiled. They'll expect things. And if you don't cure this, you're going to have kids that aren't going to be pleasant to be around.
Yeah, I see you all sitting around the family table there. That's the most important thing. In the end, what your kids want is time.
They want time, and I think I read in Dear Abby that people should spend twice as much time and half as much money. And there's so many things, people can barter things. When my kids want lessons, maybe I can't afford to give them ballet, but maybe there's a teenager in the neighborhood that can come over for $3 an hour and do ballet. When my husband and I want to go out at night, we can trade babysitting with a neighbor. We can go out for dessert instead of dinner. To celebrate a special occasion, instead of going out to dinner, why not just go out for lunch to celebrate a child's birthday? And I know with the unemployment and so many people that are just struggling, you know, your roof leaks, your car needs whatever, people just can't make it. And we just do the best we can. The reason I wrote the book is I just interviewed all kinds of people and said, how do you save money? Do you use those silly coupons? And people were emphatic, absolutely. Or how do you go on those vacations? And they told me how they exchanged houses.
Okay, we're going to find out when we come back. What's payment agreement?
Next on the Maury Povich Show. You just mentioned that when you first started there were too many kids that you took care of. What would you say would be the maximum number for one person to watch over?
Well, when I started, I thought it was going to be like Mother Goose Land. I would have my own 2 kids, and I'd bring in a whole house full of kids that first Monday morning. But what I learned is, although the state said that I was allowed to take care of 6 children plus my own, 6 new children at any one time wouldn't be good for anyone. So what I would advise people is, even if the state says you're allowed to take care of 6 children or more, you have to think of your own patience level and your own stress level, and maybe say to yourself, well, I have 2 children, let me start out with 1 more. Let that little child get used to my home and my kids, and then I'll add a 2nd child. And really be careful of the ages of the kids you select. In my case, babies were too many, too little, too much responsibility. So after a while, I adjusted my program to take children older than the age of 2.
Well, a lot of questions one has to ask oneself, and there are a lot of questions that perhaps some viewers out there have to ask you, Patricia Gallagher, and we're going to open up the phones in just a moment, right after we take this short break. The number to call is 404-827-1550. We'll be right back to take your questions.
Well, here we are again, and don't forget, a little later, we'll be talking about safety tips for your kids with the American Red Cross. Now, how many times have you heard your kids say, I'm bored, there's nothing to do? Well, Patricia Gallagher, author of Raising Happy Kids on a Reasonable Budget, is going to change all of that with some fun boredom buster activities. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Hi. And as we put 2 shaking hands in front of this very attractive young lady whose name is Kristen, nice to see you. Going to help us out today? Oh, good. Boy, you were speaking so well before, and all of a sudden, her voice is gone. Well, gosh, you know, you have how many kids?
We have 4 children.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So you have how many boys, how many girls?
3 girls and a boy, 4, 7, 10, and 11.
So you're experienced with kids saying, I don't know what to do, right?
She poked me, there's nothing to do. Why can't we go to Disney World? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's an easy one. You live in Pennsylvania.
Right,
Let's just drive down to Disney World.
Yeah.
So you've come up with ideas to help not only during the summer months, but all year round, correct?
Right. And I think these are good for mothers, fathers, grandparents, babysitters, anybody that interacts with kids is always looking for some good ideas.